Hello, hello, hello. We are live and in color, as they say. Listen, I am so happy that you're here, y'all. It's day 2 of our week-long Women's Health and Wellness Summit, and I am elated that you're here. Listen, I am your host, Chelsea Cookie Payne. I am the founder of Pain and Glory Incorporated, and this entire week we're honoring um, Women's History Month. We're honoring Women's History Month with our Health and Wellness Expo. Listen, as you're coming in, whether you are joining us virtually live right now, or whether you are joining us virtually during the replay, I invite you to invite others to be on with us. I invite you to share this with someone else and let them know that we are indeed live. Listen, this is going to be a great topic tonight. Tonight, we're dealing with trusting God's timing and finding peace while waiting on your breakthrough. Listen, that alone, I'm telling you, we're going to have a time. So jump on in. I'm sharing right now. Go ahead and share. Go ahead and share. And we are going to dive in. I'm doing exactly what I'm asking you all to do. And that is, I am sharing it right now. Right now, because I want as many sisters that can join in to be a part of this discussion. Listen, we're talking about trusting God's timing. Listen, that alone, I could have just left the title at that, trusting God's timing, cause woo, right? Trusting God's timing, finding peace while waiting for your breakthrough. Again, as you're joining in, I am Chelsea Cookie Payne. I am the founder of Pain and Glory Incorporated. And listen, we are honoring Women's History Month all week long. This is day 2, except for the weekend. So Monday through Friday. This week, this work week, we are honoring Women's History Month. So, beautiful ladies, as you're joining in, I welcome you to this powerful Pain and Glory session. Again, if you're joining live or you're joining virtually, I welcome you. I welcome you to this faith-filled moment experience, and I welcome you as fierce and wonderful women to come and grow and stretch and walk boldly in your God-given purpose. As we're glad that you're here tonight. I'm glad that you're here with me. Again, we'll be here every evening, 6:00 p.m. So listen, I believe that this topic, I believe it's right on time for someone, and that someone may even be you. So let's talk about something that, we might not always want to talk about. Something that we might always want to do. And that's wait. Waiting may not be our most favorite thing to do, whether it's waiting in line, waiting for our favorite show to start its new season, whatever it is. Obviously, waiting on God to do what we know He can do, right? But waiting feels uncomfortable. It's uncertain. It feels like silence from heaven. And when you're doing the right things, or what we deem to be the right things, we hope to be the right things. We're praying, we're serving, we're showing up, right? We're doing the things, and yet we still feel stuck. It can feel like God has forgotten about your breakthrough. Let's be honest. But in this moment, what I want you to know is that God's delay is never God's denial. And you probably have heard that before. God's delay is never God's denial. He's not ignoring you. He's preparing you. So Why does God make us wait? That's a question that we often, ponder in our minds. Well, why does He make us wait? Why do you make your children wait? Like, think about it. Waiting is a part of our natural lives, but let's lean into it a bit. Why does God have us wait? Let's lean into it. Sometimes it's as protection. If you're a parent or you have been someone's child, you know that when we have been told to wait or we tell our child to wait, it's oftentimes for our protection. Wait, don't cross the street yet. Wait, don't touch that. It's hot. Wait. It's for our protection. And then sometimes it's for preparation. You're not quite ready yet. Wait. Let's get some other things in order first. Wait. And then sometimes the promise is ready. Let's be honest. Sometimes the promise is ready, but we're not in position to carry the weight of it. Woo, sit with that for a minute. Take a deep breath. Because the promise, yeah, it's right there. Yeah, it's ready. But you're not ready. You're not in position to carry the weight of it all. There's a scripture in the Bible, Hannah. As a matter of fact, I was studying Hannah this morning, and I saw Hannah from a different perspective. And I'll get into that in a different time. The backstory behind Hannah. But for the sake of tonight, she was deeply, deeply grieved, right? She waited year after year for a child, and she poured out of her heart. She poured it out to God. But even in her pain and in her anguish, she didn't walk away. She worshiped through the wait. Because here Hannah was, she wanted to have a child. So let me give you a little bit of backstory. Hannah had wanted to have a child, and she just had not had a seed. She had not had a child yet. But PAYNE, who was her husband's other wife, she was able to produce children, and it bothered her so, because she wasn't operating, or she wasn't walking in jealousy. She wanted what was hers, right? She didn't want PAYNE's children. She wanted her own children, right? But instead of wallowing in self-pity, instead of self-sabotaging herself, yes, she was hurt. Yes, she was in pain. Yes, she was in anguish. But she still cried out to God. She still prayed so much so that it appeared as if she was drunk. But then she worshiped God in the midst of it. And so you may already know, the time when the time was right, in the fullness of time, the Bible says, right? The Bible uses the King James Version uses very romanticized words. In the fullness of time, right? God opened up her womb, and even more so, even more than that, like Hannah birthed purpose. She brought forth purpose. Her son Samuel was a prophet. He became a prophet and the key voice for Israel. Her wailing, her travailing, her pain, her anguish, and most importantly, her wait wasn't in vain. It was intentional. Waiting isn't wasted. If you remember nothing else, waiting isn't wasted. And since I know it's hard, I know it, because having this human experience, we all have had to wait for something. And you're watching other people get promoted. You're watching everything. You're on social media. You're scrolling through and you're seeing engagement photos. You're seeing baby announcements. You're seeing business launches. You're seeing job promotions. You're seeing breakthrough after breakthrough. And you begin to wonder, God, what about me? The waiting isn't a pause. Waiting is a process. It's in the waiting that God is refining your character. He's deepening your roots before he elevates your fruit. Hmm? He's teaching you to walk by faith and not by what you see, because that'll trip us up every time. Because if you can trust in him when you don't see it, you'll be unshakable when you receive it. And no, I was not trying to rhyme. But it's true. If you can stand and you can trust God when you don't see it, I literally don't see a way out. I don't see what you promised. I know it's in the word of God. I know you shared it with me in my prayer time, but I don't see it. If you can trust him in that, you will be unshakable and unmovable and trustworthy for the Lord when you are able to receive it. So let's talk about some ways in which we can trust God's timing. Some practical ways we can trust God's timing. Let's talk real talk. Let's because we can give biblical examples, and that's wonderful because we need those examples. But then on a day-to-day practical application, how do we do that? How do we trust God's timing when our emotions are all over the place? Woo! When they are all over the place. Let me give you some examples, some tools to help. Number one, get honest with God. That's number one. He's not intimidated by your frustration. Tell him how you feel. That's real relationship. Be honest with God. He already knows, but what he wants to know is if you and him have that type of relationship where you can feel comfortable enough to come to him and be honest and say, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm dealing with. Be honest with God. Number two, look back to look forward. Look back to look forward. Remember the last time you thought it was over and then God came through? Remember that last time when you were about to throw in the towel and God came through? He's still that same God. He's still that same faithful God. Remember the last testimony you had? Yeah, big or small. He's still that same God. Look back. Pull on your history with God. Number three, stay planted where you're assigned. Stay planted where you're assigned, not where you're placed. Don't jump. Don't be so quick to jump ship just because the water feels still, or because the water is stagnant for a moment. If that's where you're assigned, not placed. Bloom where you're planted is what has been shared before by several people. In your current job, your ministry, your season, or your your season of singleness, or your season of employment, stay planted where you're assigned, and make sure that you are assigned there, in that place there. Make sure that where you're supposed to bloom, that where you're supposed to bloom is actually where you can bloom. Number four, we talked about this a little bit ago, a moment ago when we talked about Hannah, but we're going to go back to it as one of our practical tips, which is worship in the waiting. Mm-hmm. Praise changes the posture of our heart. It shifts your focus from what you lack to who you have. Praise changes your mindset. It shifts not only your focus, it shifts your mindset and aligns you with who your focus should be on. Number 5, surround yourself with faith-filled women. Have yourself a community, build a community, become a part of a community that can build you up. That's why groups like this matter. That's why groups that come together and lift one another up, you're not walking this thing alone. So listen, God's timing, while we're talking about being able to trust God's timing and finding peace while waiting for our breakthrough, his timing is perfect timing. Let me encourage you with this. Jesus waited 30 years for a 3-year ministry. 30 years for a 3-year ministry. David was anointed king as a teenager, but he didn't wear the crown until many years later. Joseph had a dream as a boy, but lived through betrayal, slavery, and prison before walking into his divine purpose. God doesn't rush into what he's refining. He doesn't rush the process. He is building and shaping purpose. He doesn't rush, and neither should we. Lastly, as I wrap up, there's peace in the process, sisters. Here's the good news. You don't have to wait anxiously. You can wait peacefully, because peace doesn't come from having all the answers. Because if it did, listen, we all will be messed up because nobody has all the answers, right? But it does come from trusting the one who does. So tonight, I want you to walk in your truth. And when I say walk in your truth, I want you to walk in the truth. Because the truth is that God made you a promise, that he is responsible for fulfilling it. And your job is to stay faithful to your walk with him, faithful to prayer, faithful to your service to him, faithful to your relationship with him. So I ask you, I've got an assignment for you, right? A call to action, if you will, something for you to take action on. And that is, I want you to take a moment and ask yourself. I want you to take a moment and really ask yourself. You don't have to type this in the chat, but I want you to ask yourself this. It's two questions, maybe 3, but well, 2 for now. Where am I struggling to trust God's timing? What's that thing that you're struggling with when it comes to trusting his timing? Whether it is, well, I'm not going to put words in your mouth. Where is it that you're struggling? And the second thing is, what is he teaching you in this waiting season? There's something to be learned in this waiting season. What's he teaching you in this waiting season? Listen, I want to encourage you. Since you may not be able to see the full picture, and that's fine, because God didn't design us to see the full picture. But God is already ahead of you. That you can know. That you can be assured of. He is aligning people, he is aligning timing, and he is aligning provision. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are being developed for destiny. So while you wait, my precious sister, wait well. Trust his timing. Trust the process. But more importantly, trust the God behind it all? Romans 8:25 in the English Standard Version says, "But if we hope for what we do not see, we wait for it with patience." So I encourage you, stay faithful, stay hopeful, and always remember your breakthrough has perfect timing stamped all over it. So listen, just as I shared with you at the beginning, this is day two. This is day two. We'll be doing this for the rest of the week. Um, Thursday. I skipped a whole day. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We will be doing this. We will be coming together 6 o'clock p.m. right here, celebrating Women's History Month. Tomorrow night is a totally different topic. And listen, the whole goal of this is to allow ourselves to flourish mind, body, and spirit. Listen, I invite you 7 o'clock p.m. every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock p.m. over on the PAYNE Purpose Academy's website. I'm sorry, not website, PAYNE Purpose Academy Facebook page or YouTube page. Every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock p.m., we have our Empower Her Women's Peer Group that we have every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. I invite you to come over and check us out. That is over on the PAYNE Purpose Academy Facebook page, PAYNE Purpose Academy Facebook page, or our YouTube channel. PAYNE Purpose Academy. That's at 7 o'clock p.m. every Tuesday night. So you get to see me twice on this Tuesday in two different places. But listen, I love you guys. Listen, ladies, I appreciate you for joining in, for tuning in for this moment together. Listen, again, tomorrow night, 6 o'clock p.m. We'll be right here in Pain and Glory, where we're having our virtual Women's Health and Wellness Summit, where we're talking about the whole woman, flourishing mind, body, and spirit. I will see you. Hopefully, I'll see you at 7 o'clock every Tuesday, tonight, over at the PAYNE Purpose Academy Facebook page. Love you guys. Have an amazing evening.